Marshal Chiza. I'm an author, motivational speaker. I was 18 years old when I wrote my first book. And I was recognized as one of the youngest authors in the history. The other challenge that we have with our parents, you have to pursue the education. Sometimes in life we struggle through a tasteless cup of coffee till the last sip, only to realize that sugar is underneath. That is exactly how life is. Sweetened but not steered well. So we are all educate today's youth that education is the key to success when they are surrounded by rich criminals and poor graduates. The UK doesn't change anything. I normally tell people that a lizard in Zimbabwe will never be a crocodile in the UK. Success does not impose in the lives of those who sit down and complain, but it feels more welcome in the lives of those who stand up and use their time. The biggest tragedy in life is not death, but what dies within us whilst we are still alive. Yesterday is a waste paper, today is a newspaper, tomorrow is a question paper. So during the process of life, you need to read and write yourself well. Otherwise, your life will be wasted to a tissue paper.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Level Up podcast, where we talk all things to do with growth, spiritual growth, mental growth, physical growth. And it's your boy Tapiwa Zimamba, also known as the Fitness Doctor. And I'm joined by the one and only
Marshal Chiza, the billionaire himself.
Yes, the billionaire himself. Tatsikwa. You know, I actually started following him over, I think 12 years ago, like 10 or 12 years ago, where you were writing a lot of your posts. And do you know, like a lot of my growth, I'll attribute it to him. You know, these are the people that push you into the deep end. There's life beyond this. So I'm really interested to know about your journey. How did you start on this journey?
All right, thank you so much. And I'm happy to be one of the people who influenced you to be where you are today. Sometimes you do these things not knowing really that you're inspiring someone.
Yes.
But I'll take you back to my journey. Maybe let me just reintroduce myself. I'm Marshal Chiza. I'm an author, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, the CEO at Billionaire Publishers, also the CEO at Billionaire Drilling, and the founder at Billionaire Foundation. I've written 4 books to date. The first one is titled Success in No Time. Second one is titled Poor Billionaire. The third one is titled Before I Become a Billionaire. And the latest one is titled it's titled Dear Emerson.
Okay.
But I've got a book coming up probably in December this year. It's titled Saturday Heathen, Sunday Christian. It talks a lot about title, our day-to-day lives. But I came from I know this is what most motivational speakers would say, but I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm a transformational speaker.
Wow.
I came from a very humble beginning. I came from a poor background. I normally tell people that we used to pay 2 things. We used to pay attention and to pay a visit. That is what we managed at the time. But, you know, you start to grow. I used to actually work. The time when I started writing books, I was working in the Blaue Public Library. I worked there for almost 6 years. Then that's where I started my journey as an author, a motivational speaker. But I was very young by then. I remember my first book, I was 18 years old when I wrote my first book. And I was recognized as one of the youngest authors in the history of Zimbabwe. But it wasn't really profitable. Yes, there was money, but there wasn't money than like most people expect when you are getting into this entrepreneurship journey. There are a lot of problems that you face. You face some discouragement. You've got parents telling you that badari, no one will buy a book in Zimbabwe. I remember my first book launch, I had to rob Peter to pay Paul, because I remember I think ndakakumbira almost $2,000 US. $2,000,
and
I was 18. Yes, I was 18. The guts. The guts. Saga ndakumbira the money, you know. I told people, guys, I'm launching this book. I'll be the youngest author in the history of Zimbabwe. I wanted this money to print the book so that I can have the launch. And my first book launch, I sold 13 copies. And I got $130 from the money, from the book launch. You know, you have people saying, Takakuudza, this won't work, and so forth. Within 6 months, I wrote my second book, Rainzi, Poor Billionaire. That is where I feel I made my biggest breakthrough.
Serious?
Because that book rakatengwa a certain company in the UK, inonzi Celebris, they bought it for 50,000. If you check it online, you'll see that. And now I think I was around 19 years old when I had that deal. And then from there, that's how I started my journey to business, publishing, and also drilling. But drilling, I've been in drilling for the past 6 years now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's just a lot that you have said there. So from writing a book that had failed in quotes,
Yes,
to writing another one in 6 months, what kept you there?
I believed Kutinina I was meant to be an author. I don't want to lie to you. You know, when you're writing and you're young, especially you're coming from a poor background with unsupportive parents, they don't get to understand Kuti, you know, this person has a vision. They always say go to school, get good grades, and so forth and so forth. But with me, it was a different issue altogether, because they pushed me the education way. But I believed Kutinina I'm not meant for that. All right. I was meant to be an author, because being an author, I didn't go to school for that. It was something that was within. I used to just feel like writing. I got lost in the motivational, most of the motivational books I would find myself reading. And remember, I was also working at a library, so the motivation,
so you had access to a lot of books. So
this is also the other challenge that we have with our parents. You have to pursue the education route. You have to do this, you have to do that. But I believe for our kids, we need to identify what they are good at, especially at the age of 9 years, 10 years. That is a peak age where you have to identify, my kid is good at doing this. My kid is good in doing that. I've got a daughter, she sells sometimes at school.
Serious?
And it makes me to wonder, yes, she's still at school, she's still at primary level, but you can tell she's entrepreneur. You see, in as much as you can try and push her to school, because at school she's average. But entrepreneurship is already there. It's not like she's not getting enough money, but she just has that thing of just wanting to make money. If I get home, Daddy, I want $2. Can I wash your car? Can I do this? So you can already tell this person an entrepreneurship mindset.
She's got entrepreneurship inside of her.
So as parents, we make mistakes of not realizing this at a very young age. And we push kids to do things that they are not meant to do. Because I believe everyone in this world has a purpose, has a gift to give. I always say that sometimes in life we struggle through a tasteless cup of coffee till the last sip, only to realize that sugar is underneath. That is exactly how life is. Sweetened but not steered well. We are all born rich, but we are yet to discover our riches. But some poor people die before they discover their riches. Why? Because they're not willing to act upon their dreams.
So the acting is the steering.
So we have that sugar. But we are not steering. You get my point. So this steering part starts with the parents. Parents have to push our kids with, no, I'm realizing that you are good in sports. I'm realizing you're good in this. And you push them in that and encourage them in that. Not everyone is meant to go to school, go to university, pass and start working. No, life is not meant to be like that. That is the reason why you see people in China are succeeding, people in these first world countries, they are succeeding. Because if you check Indians, you see an Indian right now, if you get into shops, Indian, 7 years, no, you are good in this. But it's also we push our kids good end out. I'm not saying education is bad. Education is actually good, but all I'm trying to say is let's find purpose in our kids when they are very young. Let's have that gift of realizing good mwana wangu is good in this, and then we push them towards that.
Yeah. Especially a cup of coffee, it makes a lot of sense because, and it's not the child's responsibility to start steering. So for any parent that's listening, you are the one who's meant to start steering your child's cup. My child is good at this. I talk to a lot of people. anenge ane kahet kake kuti ari kuona vanhu vari kutamba bhora hanzi anenge achikudza kuti I was so good at this wamudza kuti wamubvunza kuti what happened hanzi vabereki vangu vakandirambidza kuti ndinotamba bhora vachiti ndiende kuchikoro but at the end of the day ndakazofoira apa handina kuzotamba bhora randaida.
No, listen, kufoira hakuna basa. Those things happen. And to be honest, all of us were not meant to pass.
Yes.
I'm an A-class student, but I didn't choose the school way. I choose the entrepreneurship way, and it's working for me.
Yeah,
you understand? I never pursued education up to probably university level. I just had a few certificates after O and A level, but but it doesn't mean it's the end of the life. You see, it doesn't mean it's the end of your life. No, because you see, challenge that we're having in this day and age is we have a lot of people who think that education is the key to success. But someone asked me, Chikanzi, if education is the key to success, how do you educate today's youth that education is the key to success when they're surrounded by rich criminals and poor graduates? I couldn't answer that question.
Rich criminals, poor graduates, and those who
and this is what's happening. So all I'm trying to say, and that's a good, I'm not saying be a criminal or whatsoever, but all I'm trying to say is, kana education yaramba, what is it that you're good at? Identify what you're good at. Now I want to get into something. Now we also have people who no, Zimbabwe has education, I tried, but it's not working, let me try UK.
Okay.
No. It's not going to change anything. Yes. Going to UK doesn't change anything. I normally tell people that a lizard in Zimbabwe will never be a crocodile in UK. All I'm trying to say,
a lizard is a lizard.
And don't expect to go to UK and start making money. That is never going to happen. If you think your life will change if you go to UK, try and go to UK and see what happens. Someone says, no, I'm waiting for the government to change. But no, nothing will change. This government, or maybe people will say it's not good. But check very well if we are to change the government. You're not doing anything. You're not footed. You don't have anything. You don't have any business that you are doing. Don't expect things to change. The challenge we have no education UK, this is the formula that most people are having.
Yes,
but I strongly disagree. What are you doing? What is it that you are doing? Success does not impose in the lives of those who sit down and complain, but it feels more welcome in the lives of those who stand up and use their talents and their gifts.
So like to someone who is clueless, akatobata mara ada kuinvesta ada kunobhadhara flight kuti zvokuda kutoenda and you see they've got a gift or they've not yet realized their gift. How would you like maybe guide, like put a pathway, not kuti you're telling them kuti this is the formula, no, but just a guide.
Chandafarira, I liked something you said, pane munhu atounganidza mari akuda kutobhadhara flight. So it means that person is actually able to make money.
They're capable
of making money. How much flight are we talking about?
Thousands,
less than 3,000. Why can't you start a business from that 3,000 and see what happens? I'm not saying, of course, there are people who are well educated, doctors, you can still go there. But all I'm trying to say is that vanhu vakufunga kuti formula yekupfuma ndeyekuti enda kuchikoro then you look for job abroad. It's not like that. People are still making money in this very same economy where people are crying. That's the reason why you go to Bedbridge, you have a lot of cars coming in every single day. Go to Nana Parklands, go to Nana, let's just start even Nana Arrangement. See how people are building there. And the same people are saying they don't have money. Saga, what am I saying? If you want to become successful, start from where you are. Use what you have and do what you can. You know, the biggest regret, the biggest tragedy in life is not death, but what dies within us whilst we are still alive. You know, there was a study done for elderly people. They were asked to reflect their life's biggest regret. Nearly most of them didn't regret the things they did, but the things they didn't do, the risks they didn't take, the things that they didn't pursue. So I ask you today, what will be your last regret on your deathbed? I wish I had done this, and you have the opportunity. I'm not saying do business. Pane vamwe vanhu vanokwanisa kunge vachitoti you are a singer and you are good at it. Pursue. Success is not an overnight process. You might see Marshal Chiza today, but I think when we're discussing, I told you I started this journey probably in 2013. And I haven't even reached where I want to be. But it's a slow process. If you believe in the process and you keep showing up every single day, eventually it's going to show up. And always remember, yesterday is a waste paper, today is a newspaper, tomorrow is a question paper. So during the process of life, you need to read and write yourself well. Otherwise, your life will be wasted to a tissue paper.
Otherwise, your life will be wasted to a tissue paper.
Yesterday is a waste paper. Today is a newspaper.
You're reading.
Tomorrow is a question paper. So during the process of life, you need to read and write yourself well. Otherwise, your life will be wasted to a tissue paper.
Guys, anenze varunzo mana. Parango dropa my bars. He's just dropping bars on bars. Yay! Alright, so what's your advice to let me say ghetto youth? Like pane ma ghetto youth are told, awango mafesa ari kutaura zvinhu zvavo zviri bore, but what's your advice to someone asitomborina kana, like let's say start tinoiti start like capital start here?
Yeah, it's always like that. Kana wakagara kumba, you always feel like no vakutaura they came from privileged families.
Very privileged.
Pane zvinhu zvakakosha life to this self introspection. And I believe that if you want to be big, you need to work on 3 things: books, individuals, and goals. BIG, books, individuals, and goals.
Right.
So you need to be a reader. They say in English, leaders are readers. You are interested in a certain thing, make sure you're well informed about it. And I'm so happy. I'm not talking about only books. These days we are living in an AI generation where you can just get anything on the comfort of your phone. Get to know about the field that you want to venture into. Be well informed. You might not need to go for 4 years to university to study some of those things, something that you can learn within 4 days. Get to know and make sure you are very good at it. If you want to start a business, maybe let's just say a castle, just get to research on what castle business is all about. Make sure you know, and make sure when you start implementing, you go a level higher.
Okay.
You go to the next level.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. Then individuals, this is a very universal principle. There is no way you can succeed if you have the wrong people around you.
Right.
The people around you are either wasters or investors. They either make you or break you. If you and your friend are at the same level, one of you is unnecessary in that friendship. You understand? So it's very impossible, my brother, for you to become successful or for you to become, to really make it if you have poor friends. I'm sorry to say this. I know we've got friends, these are default friends, but where are they in their lives? Check their life and check your life. That should tell you, because for you to go to the next level, you need to have the right friends around you. People who inspire you, who motivate you, because it's the person above you who pulls you up, not the person at the same level. You understand? So you need to have the right friends. Otherwise, there's someone who says if 4 of your friends are broke, you're probably the fifth one who was broke. So you can't be rich if you have poor friends. You check your friends. Don't just have friends who are just there. Have friends in a problem. You need $2,000 within 10 minutes. But if you check your contact list right now and you check just $100, because of the people. You're just keeping contacts, but you're not keeping the right people around you. There's no need for you to have 3,000 contacts if you're not going to be helped with at least $1,000. You see? So this is what I'm talking about. But I just about my friends, no. My friends and people who inspire you to do better. Because I'm not a friend, I need to also ask money. No, the principle doesn't work like that.
Okay.
Actually, isusu atitodiwo kukumbirwa mari dzacho. Because we know how hard
sure.
it is
to earn that money.
You understand?
That money,
so when munhu anozomisquota achiti no, I need to get someone with money. Yes, it's not like that. There is nothing more powerful than having someone who inspires you to do better. When you are with them, you feel like you haven't done anything in your life. Those are the people I'm talking about. Then the last thing is goals. You need to set goals for your life. You need to set realistic goals. I think you've heard the issue about SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Okay. So we have people right now who's 25 years and will tell you that next year I want to drive a Ferrari. They're not working, they're not doing anything. There's no realistic, there's nothing there. They're just dreams. They're living in an internet world. What are you doing to reach that goal? You need to have goals, and those goals have to be specific. They have to be measurable, something that you can measure. Then attainable. Attainable is the part, because we've got people who are drugs, maybe things are just going to happen like that. Success, like I said, is not overnight. Yes. Then realistic and time bound. Once you have that, I talked about books, individuals and goals. If you work on these things, you come back tomorrow and say, Mr. Chiza, what you said changed my life.
Yeah. That's solid advice, guys. Amana, you can hear what it's telling you, and you don't need money to have this. You don't need money. We've got access to books everywhere. Even can also hard copy. If you can't get the hard copies, there's ebooks nowadays. And the problem is with our culture, we laugh at people that read. You know, it's a sad thing.
It's very sad. It's unfortunate, actually. Someone like us wanted to know, but whatever you do, Marshal, you need money. I challenged that guy, and right now he's doing very well. I wouldn't want to mention him here, but he's here in Blawai.
Okay.
Ndakamuti, what are you good at? Kwanza kugesa moto. But look for someone who inspires you the most. Go and offer to wash their car for at least a month. Don't take even $1 from them. I kind of, he went to that guy. He would wash his car almost every single day. He would get there around 6:30, using his own transport. He would go there using his own dishwasher and everything. He would wash the car. After a month or so, the guy said, my brother, tell me something. If I open a car wash for you, how much would you want? She can say, no, you tell me. She can say, no, I want to open a car wash for you. Then that guy and the car wash, he says, what I'm trying to say, I don't have money to start a business. What is it that you're good at? Sometimes you just need to look for someone who inspires you the most. Render a service, sometimes for free. Don't expect money, but instead of someone giving you $2 or $5 for the car wash, that guy, they open the car wash for you. So what is it that you are good at? And if it's singing, don't stop. Keep on singing. Someone will see you. Someone will see you and they will look for you one day. So there's so much that we can talk about, but I'm just trying to be against the idea of someone saying, I need money to start a business. It's not like that. Yes.
And I think one thing I'm also learning from him is don't chase instant gratification. From the daily car washes he was doing. But he prolonged that gratification and said, and now it opened the car wash for him. So let's not chase instant gratification.
He's doing exceedingly well.
Wow.
I remember, I think sometime in February, he gave me good money. He said, thank you so much. Thank you so much for what you did. He came to me, he was nothing, and he said, I don't have money, but I know how to wash cars. Now I'm tired of my situation. I cannot continue washing cars like this. I gave him this formula, and it worked. Yes.
That's amazing. Guys, you're getting this formula for free. Please take it. Use whatever it is that you're good at and run with it. Don't expect money from it. You know, it's a funny thing that you say that, because I also noticed that I was good at accountant. Not that there's anything wrong with the accounting field, guys. I got my qualification, but I was not fulfilled. unonge uchingoita mari but pane chinhu chiri mukati mako, there's something that will be inside of you that will be saying you're not in the right place. Then I started training people for free. For free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I started training myself. Then when people saw me, they were like, dude, I want to look like you. Then eventually I would just tell them, okay, this is what worked for me, try it out. Then when I started training people, that like, then I noticed the group was growing. Then I was like, someone advised, I think you now need to start charging these people. From the charging, long story short, this is where we are. And you know what I've noticed about purpose is you may start at one level, but as long as God is in it, God wants to lead you to eventually what it is that He has designed for your life. Fitness was my entry level. And I'm noticing now it's growing into something bigger than even fitness. But you need somewhere to start from. Saga, anyone who's at home, guys, trust the process. The dots, and Steve Jobs, and the dots never align when you're looking forward, but the dots always align when you look back. Ndosaka ndakazodzidza pachikoro chechi, ndaifana kusangana nemunhu, ndosaka ndakazodzidza pacompany paper, ndaifana kudzidza kuti bookkeeping, I need to do it like this. Trust that you are in the right place right now. So the last thing we usually ask is, what is it that you would tell the 7-year-old you? Like, what is it that you'd like to tell the 7-year-old you? If you had an opportunity, what advice would you want to tell the 7-year-old you?
If I would go back to myself, growing up, you make mistakes. And there are mistakes that you make that cannot be undone. Mistakes of giving up. Right? Mistakes of, those things when you're growing up, you want to do this life of faking it until you make it. Yeah. But now we face it until we make it. Right. All I'm trying to say is we wasted so much time trying to impress people, which is not necessary. Now we are facing life, and I wish I had not done some of those things. Yes, at a personal level, I would be very far, because you want to live life where I couldn't only care. But those are people that are not necessary in your life. I was telling you recently in closing, I was at a funeral recently this week. I started to realize that the people that we are living for, when you die, you will be quickly be forgotten. Yes. On the day that you die, come to think of it, your family already will be making plans. Of course, this is their obligation to make plans for food. And before you know it, man, you're going to discuss about football. You understand? And that's how quickly people can forget you. So if people can quickly forget you at that pace when you die, why are you living life to impress people?
Yeah, that is powerful. That is powerful. Guys, let's detach from the need to impress and the need to live for yourself and live within your means. I think that's one of the most important things. Yes. But that was an amazing talk. Thank you so much, Mr. Chiza, for joining us, the billionaire himself. It's a pleasure. And I'm sure we're going to have you again, because I'm sure people are going to ask for him again. So thank you so much. And guys, we've come to the end of our episode, and everyone knows that another day, another opportunity to level up. It's your boy Tapiwa Zimamba, also known as the Fitness Doctor, and I was joined by
the billionaire himself.
Yes. Shout out.